Hello, welcome back to Physical and Health Education class with Miss Anne. Still talking about diseases. We've learned about what disease is. We've learned about the difference between sickness and illness. We've learned about the difference between communicable and non-communicable disease. Today we're going to be talking about signs and symptoms of diseases. Signs and symptoms of diseases. Now let me tell you a short story before we get into today's lesson. Now, there was a girl called Emily. Now, Emily has been feeling unwell for a couple of days. At first, she just thought it's cold. But as days went by, the symptoms began to worsen. Instead of feeling better, she kept getting worse. She kept getting worse. Now, take notes. I want you to tell me in the comment section, is this an illness or a sickness? Remember that sickness is something that after a while you feel better, but illness goes on for a very long time. Now, Emily was feeling unwell, okay, for a couple of days, but just as when it was cold. A few days after, she wasn't getting better. It kept getting worse. It kept getting worse. And she was experiencing symptoms like headache, fatigue, and nausea. So until one day she woke up with high fever and she couldn't get out of bed. Her parents, they came to check up on her and they found out that Emily had high fever and she could not get out of bed. So they had to quickly rush her to the hospital. That should give you an hint as to whether Emily was having a sickness or Emily was having an illness. So I want to see that in the comment section. Let me get your answer in the comment section, okay? So her parents took her to the hospital, and when she got to the hospital, the doctor asked her questions like, how are you feeling? When did the headache start? How long have you been feeling nauseated? Are there any other symptoms? And Emily answered all of the doctor's questions. So the doctor then went ahead to perform some kind of physical examination, like checking her blood pressure, checking her temperature, checking her reflexes, and then he also ran some kind of laboratory tests. So after reviewing the whole result from the laboratory test and all of the physical examination, the doctor finally diagnosed Emily that Emily had a severe case of pneumonia. Emily had a severe case of pneumonia. So now this brings us to our topic for today: the difference between signs and symptoms. Though you'll find out why that story was very very important. Okay, why I have to tell you that story. Let's talk about signs. Now, signs are objective evidence of a sickness or condition. It can be observed by a doctor or it can be observed by people around you. So signs are simply physical or behavioral changes that can be seen, heard, or felt by others. So others can see it on you. They know you are going through something. They know that something is happening to you because they can see it. It's very visible for them to see. They can hear it. They can feel you. Okay, so examples of signs are rashes. If you have a rash, there's no way anybody will miss it except the person is blind. So if you have rashes on your body, it's not that everybody can see that, oh, you're going through something because I can see the rashes on your body. If you have a fever, they can touch your body temperature and then they will feel the change in your body temperature, that your body feels hot or your body feels warm. So they know that okay, you're going through something called fever. And if people keep seeing you vomiting, they know that okay, yes, you're going through one kind of sickness or illness. So signs are simply things that people around you they can see it and know that something is going on with you. But symptoms, on the other hand, symptoms are things that the sick person feels. Only the sick person feels those things. Only the sick person experiences those things, okay? So the person has to open their mouth and tell you that I'm feeling this, I'm going through this, before you can know that something is going on with that person. But for signs, the sick person doesn't have to utter anything. The sick person doesn't have to say anything. It's very obvious for everybody to see that this person doesn't feel too well. This person is feeling unwell. Okay, it's very, very clear for others. Others can tell you that you are going through this. But for symptoms, you are the one that you have to open your mouth and tell somebody that I don't understand what's going on with me. I'm feeling somehow, I'm experiencing this and that. Okay, so you have to tell, so the doctor cannot find out those things until you open your mouth. That's what happened with Emily. Okay, so Emily was feeling, let's go back to that story. So let's pick out the signs and the symptoms in the story. Now it says Emily was feeling unwell for a few days. It got worse. She thought it was cold, but the symptoms worsened. And what are those symptoms? Remember that symptoms are things that the sick person can feel. Now, Emily was a sick person here. What did she feel? She had headache. She felt tired. She felt nauseated. Now, I can't know if you have headache until you tell me, because your body would not necessarily become hot every time you have headache. You will just feel the pain in your head. So I can't look at you and just say straight up that, oh, you have headache. So that was a symptom. She was the one feeling the headache. I can't see it. Her parents could not see it. She was the one feeling tired. She was the one feeling nauseated. Okay, so those were symptoms. So she had to open her mouth and tell the doctor that, okay, for some days I've been having headache, I've been feeling tired, I've been feeling nauseated. So the doctor could not prescribe, he could not diagnose those things. But what the doctor could see, now where did the science come into place? The doctor performed physical examination by checking her blood pressure, whether her blood pressure was high or it was low. He checked her temperature, whether her temperature was high or low. He checked her reflexes to see how her body responds to stimulus. Okay, then he ran some kind of laboratory test to find out one or two things. So that you can see that those are the signs and those are the symptoms. So the things that the doctor could find out on his own are the signs, but the thing that only Emily could feel and describe are the symptoms in that story. So now we've learned about signs and symptoms. That for signs, everybody can see that you are going through this, such as rash, vomiting, fever. But for symptoms, you are the only one that knows what you are going through. So you have to open your mouth and report it to the doctor or report it to others around you to tell them you are feeling this way and you are experiencing this and that. And your examples of symptoms: pain. I can't tell when you are feeling pain. You are the only one who can tell when you are feeling pain, and you know where the pain is coming from. Okay, such as pain, you being tired, you having headache, you feeling dizzy. So that is the difference between signs and symptoms. So it's super easy. So in all, we've learned that there's a difference between sickness and illness. So just to summarize, sickness is short term, it only lasts for a while illness is a long term kind of condition. So for sickness, you don't have to see the doctor, but for illness, you have to see the doctor. Okay, and we've learned about communicable and non-communicable disease. For communicable disease, it can be passed from one person to another, while non-communicable disease, it cannot be spread. Now, signs and symptoms, everybody can see that you are feeling unwell. Okay, but for symptoms, you are the one that knows how you're feeling, so you have to tell them how you are feeling. So that brings us to the end of today's class. I hope it's been a wonderful series, learning about diseases, finding out the difference between sickness and illness, signs and symptoms, communicable and non-communicable disease. I've had fun teaching you, and I hope you had fun learning. So I look forward to seeing you in our next class and in our next series. So bye for now, take care, until later. Bye.